Hello, everyone. This is one more episode of Let's Talk About It. Thank you very much for your participation today. Today, we're going to talk about past lives. And I would like to start by saying, after uncountable lives we've had over our experience, over our existential experience, we may certainly say that we are the latest versions of ourselves. If we spare some thought to evolution, we should ask, what meaning would life on Earth have if we had just one chance to evolve as a human being? That's something to think about and start our conversation today with. But it's important always to mention, it's important to say that don't believe in anything, not even in what we say here in our debate. Experiment. Have your own personal experiences. To talk about past lives, let me introduce you the team today. Karina Liashai is graduated in economy and psychology, speaker and teacher of Conscientiology. Karina has been working as a volunteer since 2007 and been with ASSIPI since 2013, volunteering in the technical scientific department. Welcome to Let's Talk, Karina.
Hi, Mario. Thank you. Thanks for having me. Hello, everyone.
Our next talker today is Jader Curvelo. He's an electrical engineer. He has been working as a volunteer in Conscientiology since 2001, and as a teacher, speaker, and researcher since 2003 in the technical scientific area. Welcome, Jader.
Hello, guys. Thank you for having me today.
Good. Leonardo Schneider is a civil engineer, postgraduated in concrete structures with MBA in education management, Conscientiology volunteer since 2010, and as a Conscientiology instructor since 2011. Welcome, Leonardo.
Hello, everyone.
Good. Our debate is based on cutting-edge relative truth from the neuroscience Conscientiology, right? Could you introduce Conscientiology to people?
Me, of course.
Yeah, Jader, all right, go ahead.
Conscientiology is the science that studies the consciousness as a whole, with all its bodies, extensive experience, times and places of life, an integral, projective, and self-conscious approach in relation to the various existential dimensions. Consciousness is me, you. It's also all people in human life and all self-conscious beings of dimensions outside human life. Consciential paradigm is focused on bioenergies, multidimensional, and pluri-existential scopes, self-research, cosmoethics, universalism, and holosoma.
Good, Jader. Conscientiology has more than 20 conscientiocentric institutions, right? Each of them specializes in one specific subject of research. And our institution here is ASSIPI. And what is ASSIPI specialized in, Karina?
We are specialized in parapsychism. So we study how we interact with other dimensions, how we react to different energies, different environments, different people, but not only considering the 5 basic senses of the human body. We also study the practical use of parapsychism, especially how we can improve our lives when we study and develop our parapsychism, to have a better quality of life, and also to better evolve, to make enhancements in our lives. The parapsychism is an inherent skill to every individual and can be rationally enhanced, free from any religious connotations or mystical initiations. And the lucid development of parapsychism enables an integral understanding of what is consciousness and allows also the experience of the conscious paradigm proposed by Conscientiology.
Great, Karina, thank you. And ASSIPI in English project is aimed to promote the ideas of Conscientiology worldwide, right? The project is specialized, especially focused on the study, research, and the useful practice of the parapsychism. I'd like to start with by mention a book which is very didactic because we were going to talk about past lives today. So this book is very didactic to show a very interesting experience with a boy. I have here the Portuguese version, but Tarita, could you please? Yeah, that's right. Soul Survivor. This is a very interesting book depicting an experience of a boy, right? This actually tells the story. This book tells the story of James Leininger, right? At the age of 2 years old, he began having disturbing nightmares that wouldn't stop. So James screamed out things like "plane on fire, plane on fire, little man can't get out." So his parents finally admitted that they had to take note of these experiences and started to track down all the information James uncovered from his past to find out that he had died in the Second World War as an American fighter pilot called James Huston, past uncovered in this case. Before starting talking about this experience like this, right? I'd like to say that your participation is very important. Okay, if you have questions to ask or experience to share, please just write them down in the comment section so that we can have this talk together with you as well. Right? I would like to start by talking about this experience. I think this one is very traumatic, wasn't it? Because it was causing him nightmares and everything. It may happen, but it's something traumatic. We don't have to know about your past life like this, right, people?
Mario, this case is shown in a Netflix series as well called Surviving Life. I think this is the name of the series, Surviving Life. And
Good.
they do an interview with this little kid, and now he's not a little kid anymore.
Yeah.
But it's very interesting to see him speaking of this experience. And as he get older, he is not recording as he recorded when he was 2, 3, 4 years old. But his parents go to this place, and he recognized the place that the plane dropped, and when he died, where he died. This is
Mhm.
a very interesting series on Netflix, and show other cases as well.
Very nice. We might feel repercussions from our past lives, subjectively speaking, because everyone has this particular experience. Karina, could you go over this, the repercussions from the past life one might have?
Yes, and would like to say something regarding what Leonardo said that is very interesting, because when we are younger, especially in the case of this boy, like 3 to 4 years old, it's more common, more likely for us to remember our past lives. What happens is that many of the parents, they are not aware, and they just disregard our comments, our feelings, our nightmares, and they say something like, oh, this will go away, just pray a little bit. But these boys' memories were so vivid, and he wouldn't stop having them. So the parents called a number of people from many lines of knowledge and religion to try to figure out what was going on, because they didn't have the information regarding parapsychism and past lives. So it's a very important sign we have to be aware of, not only of our memories when we are younger, but also if, for instance, if you're not a parent, you are a teacher, and you have like kindergarten students, one of them begins to say something, it's important to ask questions to see if it makes sense. If you have a nephew, if you have a son or a daughter, be aware of what they're saying. Not everything is imagination. Many things are real, but they don't know how to express themselves yet. So sometimes it's mixed with also imagination, but it's very likely to have real information and important information about our past there.
Karina, can I add something?
Sure, sure, Leo.
And it's incredible because the children say this kind of stuff as the most natural thing in the world. I have, for example, a cousin when he was like 5 years old, and my brother was like 30 years old. And he went to my brother. He was 5 years old, and he went to my brother and said something like that. Do you remember when you were small and I was big, my cousin, 5 years old, saying to my brother with 30 years old, do you remember when I was big and you were small and we lived on Germany? Like
Really?
the most natural thing in the world. Do you remember? And my brother, no, I don't remember, but no, that's interesting.
It's very interesting because it's very common
Yeah.
in children's 2 or 4 years old. I was reading a book. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but it's very interesting because there are many research about this kind of situation. And I would like to add something. There's two scientists, Canadian scientists, that studies this case. Dr. Ian Stevenson, he's already dead, but there's another, his successor, there's Gene Tucker. They studied 2,500 cases about children that have this kind of experience about past lives. Is very interesting. And after when a 7 or 8 years old, they forgot, especially because the things that Karina told to us, and they don't remember about their experiences. Is very interesting.
May,
Yeah, and
may I just add something of what Leo said about his brother? His brother was a researcher of parapsychism, and I think he wrote this information down when the cousin said, remember when we lived in Germany, because many people just disregard it's like a fantasy. And that's very interesting that I just associated. He wrote this book, History of Parapsychism, very interesting book. And his last name, Schneider, is like German last name, right? So sometimes the clues are under our nose, like in our names, and we just don't link the dots. But
And
since
we're
João
translating,
Ricardo...
we're translating this book to English right now.
Oh, very good information. And so it's another clue, like when Mario Luna asked what kind of clues or the repercussion we may have of past lives. Sometimes our last name is a very important way to start, and even the first name, to have know the meaning, what's the origin of your name, in which countries they are most likely to be used. So maybe our past lives was in a country that our names are very common, for instance. So it's a very good way to find more information about us without having to remember past lives. We can have the information of this life can lead us to the past lives as well. Sorry, Mario,
very
go ahead.
interesting. Okay, it's just another interesting documentary about this topic is Life After Death. Actually, the title in Portuguese is Vida Após a Morte. I think it's on Netflix or Prime Video. I think it's Netflix. It's very
Yes.
interesting because we have some kids telling, telling his past lives, and sometimes comparing even the parents they have in the past lives in the present life. So it's quite interesting to illustrate what we're going to talk about. So why does it happen? According to Conscientiology, we have seriality, which is one of our pillars, right? The pillars of the consciential paradigm. And we have studied this pillar, seriality, to find out the multi-essential cycle. So why does it happen? Why do we still have some reminiscences from the past, right? Things that we still remember, we feel, or we live here in this present life from the past. So I just would like to contextualize this scientifically speaking through the consciential paradigm, right? Now let's talk about a bit multi-essential cycle. How does it work?
I think it's important to say that the consciousness is not in our brain. The consciousness is transcend this body. So this life is not our first. So it's important to understand when you have some kind of disinformation about past lives, we should understand that my own consciousness, but in another life. and this information is not in my memory, in my brain. Is in we call hollow memory. Is all information about our lives, all lives. Well, it's a part of the explanation, but I would like to explain more.
I think there is a logical way to speak to talk about this multi-existential, that we are in an evolutionary process. If we, for example, in our life, in our daily lives, we have people that are more evolved, more evolutionary than us, and less evolutionary than us. And what explains that is this seriality, because we come to this life, we die, and we reborn, and we die again, and we reborn again, and this cycle is comes to our maturity, for have experiences, for learning things, and each life we come to this planet or other planets is to keep going on this evolutionary process.
I would like to add something about this evolutionary process and the many lives that we have. We are always coming back to this intraphysical dimension until we don't need to come back anymore, but it takes like thousands and thousands of lives. So we are discarding the physical body, and then we go to the extraphysical dimension, and we come back to the intraphysical dimension again in a new body or a new soma. And why do we remember when we are younger? It's most likely for us to remember because we are not fully connected to our intraphysical soma yet with our bodies, the extraphysical body that we call psychosoma. On some lines of knowledge call it soul or spirit. It's not fully connected yet. So we are more in the extraphysical dimension than we are in the intraphysical. It's more likely for us to have lucid projections, but we don't know how to express them, to remember our dreams, to get in touch with people from our intermissive course or our paraprocedence, I don't know where we come from, in the extraphysical place where we were before.
You can say like para-origin.
Para-origin. Yeah, so we are more connected with that, and that's why we have more like this ability to remember. And also we don't have like the prejudice or the culture inside us, like when the parents say, oh, it doesn't exist, go pray, go to your room and pray, like if you go to a Catholic school, or it depends on the religion that do not consider this ability. So we are getting like, we are closing our chakras, we are closing our memories, and we with time, we start to disregard this multidimensional reality. And when we are younger, our chakras, they tend to be more fluid. We don't have many blockages. We don't have many thoughts yet. We are more fluid. But with time, we begin to close ourselves, and that's why it's harder to remember. I think someone said something about how can we develop this ability, right?
It's interesting, Karina, because if you ask the most of people, they understand that the lives doesn't finish here. They feel that's continuous, but the paradigm is different. I think intuitively we know this, but we don't understand exactly it works. We usually look for this information, though, or this explanation in a religion or in or mysticism schools of human knowledge. And I think Conscientiology gives us a new paradigm to explain how it works, how when we are a children, we have this kind of experience. For example, already have a discussion here about out of bar experiences. It's very common, but normally don't understand because you don't know how it works. You think it's a crazy thing, but Conscientiology gives us many tools to study more, to understand how we work, how or who we are. I think it's an important point. Who is Jada? How or why I choose my profession? For example, I'm engineer, electrical engineer. This information makes sense if I study my past as a warrior, as a strategist. I already have some experience and get information from my past life. So start studies about yourself, you can find some information about these lives and is more clear about this life. You know, you understand me? And I think it's the important point is the paradigm. I think Conscientiology can expand the understanding about ourselves.
And you can know more about you, right? So this is really, really good. Leo, would you like to say something?
Yeah, I want to go back what Karina said, and in the way we deal with that with children. If we cut this of, or if we can go and we can talk to these children to understand more what these children want to say. For example, I have other example in my family. I have a nephew, and when he was like 5, 6 years old, I was in a Sunday, a normal day. I was watching television, and she came and seated at my side in the sofa, and took a deep breath, and I looked for her, and what? And she said to me, and it was very funny. She said to me like that, Leo, I am really happy this life. I am really happy in this life. And then I and then I started to talk with her. Why are you happy? Oh, because because I remember my past life, and I was in Scotland, and everything was great. I and my family was not so cool, so good as this family right now. Oh yeah, tell me more about that. Yeah, our father abandoned us, and we are in. I don't remember very well right now, but she said like, oh, I had 6 brothers, and we are hungry, and our father abandoned us, and we started to work very. Uh, when we were children, and it was not a good life, and this life is okay, this life is good. And I, wow, that's nice, that's awesome. So I was talking to her, and trying to understand more what she was trying to say right there. And I saw there are a lot of fathers and mothers that when the child starts to say something like that, no, 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 this is your imagination. You have, like Karina said, no, you have to pray. This is your imagination, and cut this kind of information. And I think this is not the best approach with the children.
Yes, that's right. We have some comments on our comment section here I'd like to make to you. The first one is from Gloria, and what she says is very interesting. She says, perhaps memory cells are inherited. And just its comment reminded me of something that Jean Charron is um, physics French, and a French physics, and he was really studying the spirit, right? What they call the spirit, or the existence of the experience after the physical life. And he found out that the photons, right? They don't die. They are, endless. They don't die. We have the electrons and other cells, but the photons don't die. So that was the first evidence from physics that we survive the physical death. And I would like to make some comments on this about the inheritance of our cells.
I would say about the self-inheritance, when we inherit things from ourselves from past lives. So sometimes parapsychism is an ability that we developed before, and that's why we have our memory more. We can rely more. Also, for instance, if it's a person that studied a lot in past lives, mainly history, for example. So in this life, we'll have like a better ability to remember facts, not only about their lives, but also about other people and the history facts as well. So the more we work on something, it's the higher probability to have this ability more developed. So I think in memory is the same. The more we exercise the memory, it's more likely for us to inherit from ourselves in the next life. So it's not only the biological inheritance from our mother and father, it's also a factor we have to consider, and also the environment where we are born, but mainly our self-inheritance, parapsychic self-inheritance.
Very good. Irina makes some comments here. We were talking about repercussions, right? And Irina said, sometimes an unknown place or a language that is mentioned in a discussion can trigger some unconscious feelings, good or bad, and this can be linked to our past lives, right? About these feelings. And she continues, you don't know why you say, I will never set foot in X country, even if it's a very nice and beautiful one. But maybe in a past life, you had there a very difficult life. Yes, this is what we were talking about. The repercussions we have from past life, in traumatically speaking, pathologically speaking, right? And then she asked, how can you overcome this? Make a reconciliation. It helps to visit the country and face these feelings. Comments on this.
I think this in this self research, because Irina said, I will never I will never set foot in this country or that country, and this is, I don't know, it's very personal. For example, I have my last name Schneider. It's a German last name, and I feel that I'm not prepared to go to German. I don't want to go to German because I had some experiences of some memories of past lives in German, and I don't know if I am prepared to go. But this is a personal decision. I don't know what you have to analyze, to do a self research to see if there is the appropriate time to go to this country and make a reconciliation, or there will be some cases that is not the most the right time to go there. In my case, I will wait. I will wait. Maybe next life.
Yes, we should say that if you feel bad about something, you should check it out and try to reconcile with this stuff, right? Because I think this is the point, isn't it?
Yes, but I totally agree with Leo, because I have the same thing. I have also a German last name, my middle name, Schlegel, and I don't use it very often. And I have the same regards Germany. Like, should I go in this life? I don't have the intent. The intention. I think I broke up as I was talking about this. The image froze, and so I'm not ready yet. But you have to see the signs when you are ready. It's important to make this connection and see what you left behind, and mainly extra physical, but you have to be very sure, because otherwise, if you're not ready, you can suffer a lot. You can get sick, you can have some accidents. Even we see many people going to places they shouldn't be there yet. It's too soon to go back, and like the collectors, they are all waiting for you just to go there. And so I would say, take it easy, study a little bit more, and perhaps make the reconciliation by distance before you are really ready to make this move and visit the country. Yeah, I would say that.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
I
We have,
think
all right.
I think we have to do the self research to see exactly what Karina said. The self research is going to tell us if it's the right time or not, because I have 100% sure that that I will have to reconcile with German one day, but I don't know if right now is the right time to do that. I don't know if I go there. Maybe I will, when I arrive there, I will have a disease. I don't know. So when I have the sign, when I have the synchronicities that is the right time to go, I will go. And I know that I have to go one day, but I know that I'm not prepared. And we have, with the self research, we have to know our limits.
I see. You mean with your German past, right? With German past.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's very interesting. German past, my German past instead of Germany, because the country doesn't have anything to do with this. All right.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm reconciled with the German past. All right, that's good. People, we have another comment here from Anna Valley, right? She says, when I was 49 years old, I went to Tibet for the first time. Well, kind of. And two monks at two different monasteries and in two different cities greeted me as if I were a monk. Wow, very interesting, Anna. They are not allowed, and then it must continue. Okay, they are not allowed to touch women, only close family members. Then the guy told me that was very unusual and that he had never seen anything like that, and he thought that I had already lived there. Okay, and she continues here with all the comments. And all my greetings from childhood were from a specific isolated area of West Tibet. I think it's quite coincidental to be only a coincidence. And she continues. Okay, this is from Anna Valley. The other one's from another person. Let's just go and talk about this comment from Anna.
Okay, can I start? Okay,
Yeah, sure.
sorry.
There is something else here. Sorry. Fact, I was invited to be an English teacher at a Tibetan Buddhist monastery, and I'm moving to the Himalayas soon. What a fantastic coincidence! Very nice,
Yes,
Anna. Thank you for
very
your comment.
interesting. Maybe it's not just a coincidence. That's why you have to know better the facts. But I would ask, where were you born, and in which city, and how the environment as well. And why do you want to go to Tibet in the first place when you were 49? What moves you? Because sometimes we have this great connection in some countries that we really want to go there. It's like, I must go there. I miss that place so much. I've never been there, but I miss it already. Like, it's like I've never been, I don't know, let's, for instance, to France, but I miss it so much. When you see the pictures, like you're missing it because maybe it's a memory from another life. And another thing we have to be also aware, sometimes I was born in Brazil for a reason. I'm not saying I shouldn't go to France or Germany, for example, but sometimes the past drags us, and we choose a place, a very distant place, so I have to connect with other people and get away with my past, because otherwise I would be repeating myself over and over again. In the same environment, in the same people. So it's important to make this rupture and do something new. And sometimes we have all this trouble to come to Brazil, and like 50 years later, there I go to Himalaya all over again. And in this life, I was not supposed to do that, to go and live there and have the same culture. I think Mario also has a very good example of someone very near Mario. I will not say the name. She chose to be reborn in Brazil, to disconnect, especially from France. And when she was old enough to travel, she went back to France. She married a French guy, and she chose a specific church to be married. It's like, how many lives you are doing the same rituals over and over again. So it's important to have all this information and take a very lucid decision. Yeah, it's time to go back to Himalaya. I have things to go and do that. Oh no, I just miss the environment and my old friends, and I want to keep on doing the same thing over and over. Or I have a different example to set. For example, when Leo said, when he's lucid enough to go back to Germany, to show people that he is a different person now and help people that remain there. And you have to get a lot of energy. I don't know how to say stuff. You have to be very strong energetically to deal with whatever may come. And you don't lose your lucidity. Because sometimes when you go to a familiar place, when we used to live there before, it's very common to start thinking in the same way we used to think, with the same values, and lose our lucidity. That's what I want to say.
Any other comments?
Yes, I would like to say just one thing about this. I think it's the important point to help us to evolve is assist other persons. When you do this, you learn more about yourself. You learn more about the example of the other consciousness, and maybe this experience can help you to overcome some traumas or some past lives, and maybe go to the German, as Schneider says, or Karina, and you are free to understand more about yourself. I don't know. I think it's when you decide to assist other consciousness, I think it's important step in this life to understand more about yourself. And you can decide, as Karina says, if you go to Himalaya or do visit some persons or do something. But the point is, make the difference, help other consciousness. I think it's the basis of our science, or I mean conscientiology, is the assistance to other consciousness.
Very good, Jade. There is some information from our team on backstage. Ernie says to Leo, this is a message for you. The surname Schneider in German means the person who cuts. It's related to the people who made clothes in the past, like a tailor. Yeah, possibly Schneider is a tailor. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a tailor.
Very good, people. We have a question coming from our friend Luis Enrique, right? Luis asks, a person who has recurring dreams with tsunami, which indicators would evidence if it's related to a retrocognition or if there is another reason that's motivating such events. To say what it is a bit, I wouldn't risk something, but because we have something like a traumatic memory from hollow memory, like the one the boy had in his life with this soul survivor. There might have been something concerning tsunami in past life or kind of traumatic memories, but it also can be a kind of fear from subconscious. What do you think, people?
I would like to just add something. There's in this book. Oh, I'm sorry. According to research of Stevenson and Tucker that I mentioned in the beginning, 75% of the children that describe their experience as a traumatic death or sudden death, maybe is the case of this comment. Normally, the children that have these memories from the past remember that their deaths was traumatically, maybe in a tsunami, or the case of the airplane of this boy.
Well, one thing it's very important to pay attention in our experiences is the way we interpret, not only the way we interpret them, but also the way we feel after having them. For example, when I'm in a recycling process, right, we tend to have some really disturbing um, out of body experiences, for example. But sometimes I'm not having these experiences as being involved by them or as a victim, right? But also to assist those ones who I was related to in the past, and I still have to go there and make the assistance. So if I'm going back to the sphere to assist someone from my past, I might have a very disturbing projection. But the result of this is always positive for me. The feeling is positive. I will not feeling traumatic. I will not feeling bad about it. I said, okay, I was there. The thing was not good. That there was that stuff to do that was disturbing. It was like a blood curdling thing. It was, bad, but I'm happy. I'm so good that I was able to go there and do the assistance. The feeling is positive. The bottom line is the feeling is positive. What do you think about it, people?
It's, I'm sorry, just one more comment. I would like to share my experience. It's interesting, Mario, because I had not recently, but a couple of years. I remember, uh, I know that I was out of my body in a projection, and I access some information about the past life when I was in a field during the Second World War, and me and other children was shot uh,
On the back.
on the back. And the interesting thing about this is because I had a Sebastian cyst in my back. This life, in the same position of the cyst has a scare in my lung. And for me, it makes sense with this memory from the past because
Mhm.
some guy from the Germany shoot me in my back, and in this body forms like a cyst, and
A
the
scar
same
from the
position.
past. This is very
Yes,
interesting.
yes, in the same position, not only my skin, but in my lung has in Portuguese we call pleuropinçamento pulmonar. It's a scare in the lung.
Okay,
It-
it's kind of a spot.
yes, I spot. And I have this experience years after. Uh, it's important to explain that I went with my mom. I have, I think, 14 years old. And my experience, retrocognition experience happens many years after this. So when I had the experience, I make connection with this hydrographia, this when I
Radioactive.
visit
X-ray, X-ray.
the
X-rayed.
X-ray.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. When I visit the doctor, and I saw this X-ray about the scares of my lung, and I make connection with the experience. Was interesting, but as you said, the most important is emotionally. For me, it's so good. I remember, and I know that was the past, and for me, it's okay. It was opportunity to learn more about myself.
And that's interesting because it's called like a stigma, right? Stigma is a sign that we have from the past.
Mario, just something about the tsunami. It may be
Right.
really a memory from another life, like a traumatizing experience, and the person keeps reminding and reminding in dreams. But maybe it's also a metaphor for something, and it's how the brain disconnects, and maybe the person is going through a tsunami in life, like many changes, many things happening, and it's how we cope. Maybe it's a coping mechanism as well. So I always analyze my dreams and projections in two ways: the real meaning and the hidden meaning. That's maybe it's like I'm dealing with the information or the situation. It's good to have both points of view.
That's interesting for you to say, because I'm doing my therapy and my therapist is not from Conscientiology. So I have to take care when I use certain neologisms because she wouldn't understand. So I have to be extra careful with this. And that's very interesting because she shows me sometimes that we have some content in our subconscious mind, right? So that might come to the surface sometimes. And it comes like in the mode of fears as well. So, or in a symbol, like Carl Jung would say, Jung defended the idea of symbols, right? And it works a lot, it works a lot. Some of my experiences are connected to projections, but she interprets this like subconscious. I don't care. The bottom line is we have to analyze what it's all about. This is the most important. That's interesting for you, Karina, to say that. Ana Vallis, you make comments here. She says, I lived in different countries and continents. And then she continues, it's time to go back. It's probably why it took me so long to go to Tibet.
Can I say something regarding this? I think
Sure.
it can be a very good opportunity when in this life we can regroup with our group. How can I say that clearly? So she chose to be born in Brazil, to disconnect, to learn new things, have new knowledge and experiences, mainly regarding conscientiology and also the mimesis, because many people just keep on doing same thing life after life. I think it's mimesis in English when we are repeating. And many monks, that's
it's
it.
mimicry.
Mimicry, self-mimicry.
Yeah.
And I see not only monks, but I have also a religious past, but mainly with priests and nuns. And I see when I go and visit some in Europe, mainly like a connection, and sometimes even familiar people. Like, I think this person was very connected to me, and she is still doing the same thing. She is still a nun, or she is the visitor guide. She's in that hollow scene, and I moved on. So it's very good when we can go back and help people, even without saying words, like with our energy, to show I have moved on, so you can do the same. And I think that's the case. She's telling us, she sensed it's time to go back, to make to show people, come on, let's move on. You don't need to do the same thing over and over again, instead of being stuck there. Because some people do this, they just drop everything. I want to go to Tibet and I want to be a monk. That's my calling. So you are repeating, and I think that's not the case. She's going inside the monastery, and she has a great opportunity to make some enlightenment to that people over there.
Very nice. Luis,
that's my opinion. Don't believe in anything. Right. Just have your own experience. Good to tell about the principle of disbelief in this case as well. Yeah.
That's right. Luis Henrique says, very good insights from you all. Thank you. Thank you, Luis Henrique, for your participation. People, that's that. I would like just to announce that next week we have a very important course here at ASSIPI from instructor Epicom Mario Oliveira. He will be talking about helpers, extra-physical friends, the importance of helpers in interdimensional assistance, and personal qualification in the successful maintenance of this interaction. The course takes place in December 4 and 5, Saturday and Sunday from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. with simultaneous interpretation into English and Spanish. If you want to register for this course, go to our website, www.assipi.org/loja. For more information, email events@assipi.org. The price is 130 reais, right? I don't know how much it would be in dollar, but around $35 something. Around $34. Okay, so next week, very good course to understand our relationship with our helpers. And I would like to say that every Monday from 3 to 4 p.m., we have an encounter, which is called Psychic Encounters. It's an activity held in English in which we read a chapter of this book by Professor Valdo Vieira, Projections of the Consciousness, and we make comments on the experience we read. But most importantly, this is a round of discussions proposed and based on the projections of Conscientiology about your parapsychic experiences. So if you had parapsychic experiences and you want to share these experiences, if you want to ask questions, right, about this to clarify what it is, we'll be there every Monday um, from 3 to 4 p.m. Okay, if you want to get connected to this event, just go to our networks on Instagram and Facebook. We will always place the link for your participation over there. Or you can go to our website, assipi.org/loja, and register through the website. So I hope to see you on the psychic encounters on Monday at 3 p.m. Okay, people, let's just we are close to finish our debate today, and I would like us to share our experiences. I have one interesting experience about past life, but it's not traumatic. It's interesting, which is I studied English in American school, and my teachers used to speak like, "Hello, get in the car," and I run important with things like carrot flies, the same, all my life. And then when I started to study an advanced course in a British school, and I had British teachers, I got like, oh no, I know it. This is my English. And I felt 100% connected to the British accents. So people from England say, Mario, have you lived in England? I say, no, I've never lived in England. And have been to English? No, I haven't. Say, wow, this is so amazing. But this is something I'd like to mention that because, it's very good to recover this kind of talent or skill or whatever it might mean because it helped me. I'm an English teacher. I am working in a project at ASSIPI that is spoken in English. So it's so useful for me. And then I'd like to close our conversation today by saying that what are you able to recognize in you, in your talents and skills from past life that is positive in our lives?
I have a couple of things. I'm sorry, Karina. You can go first. First, the ladies, please.
Okay, so I would say something that I acquired from previous lives, like the willing for traveling and teaching. In this life, I'm teaching conscientiology, multiple lives, and to learn other languages. But I think it comes from other lives, but from the religious past. I am no longer in this life. I was not even baptized. I'm not connected, but I feel I have connections from past lives with this. This is my target public, like the people that I should be speaking to and teaching things that I moved on. And I think that this is the ability, the traveling light, because religious people didn't carry much luggage. They were always on the road. And I feel this inside me, this always on the road and spreading information, not spreading the word anymore, but the holy word. I'm spreading new information, and that's all. That's what I think is the strong trait.
Good. Jader.
I have a similar. I mean, like Karina is traveling, especially in Brazil, working with commerce. But I know I have a religious past too. But the most stronger sensation is like a sailor or I don't know, something like travel around the world using a ship. Because I remember when I was a child, very small child, I could make previsions of the weather. Just look in the sky. My grandmother asked me every time, every day, if you can possibly rain, or I don't know. And every time I make sure, and I'm right. I was right every time. Just watching the sky and looking for the stars. And for me, it's important information, because recently I found some other information about my visions when I was child, associating a specific, how can I say navegador?
Sailor?
Sailor.
A specific sailor.
I see. Now,
For me, I have some abilities with art, and I think these abilities that I developed in past lives brought me some sensibility, and this sensibility appears in different areas of my life, to see the harmony in things, to see how things can work. And this sensibility, I think I brought from the sensibility of the art. Another thing is an ability with entrepreneurship. I had some experiences with a specific personality in the past in United States of America, and this is one of my hypothesis of past life. And he was an entrepreneur, and basically I think I brought some abilities of this past life to to my daily life today.
I see. Just one question. When you say sensibility, you mean that you are sensitive or reason, or from reason? Because you have two connections, right? Sensitivity is the word when you have this feeling, you are very sensitive. Is that what you mean, or really sensibility from mind?
Both,
Both of them.
both.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
both of them.
Okay.
It's my way of seeing life.
Okay.
It's a natural
Interesting.
thing for me.
Good, Leo. Very nice. We have one more comment from Anna Valley, right? Which is Anna. I think it's regarding what Karina says about her experience. Just perfect, she says. I'm not a religious person. I am not even Buddhist. I will be a teacher. And then she continues, not a monk, nun, or a nun, right? Better say I'm going to a Buddhist monastery, not a nunnery. That's interesting. Thank you for your comment. Oh, yes, maybe it's an advance, right? Because, okay, I'm just speculating over what you said, right, Anna? You were a nun or a monk in a past life, and now you're going to be a teacher with them. This is kind of advance. That's good. Very, very, very nice. And this is the point, when we talk about past lives. Okay, it doesn't matter what we did. It doesn't matter what we were. We have to recover these connections with the reconciliation in mind, with this kind of pacifist intention with our past, and be very respectful to what we have done, to what we have experienced. And from now on, we really want, or we should be focused on making a better relationship with our past, with people that we left behind, or with our talents. We have to use our skills and talents that we inherit from the past. So this is what matters. The bottom line of our conversation today is to make the most of our past. People, we unfortunately have to say goodbye now. We are just closing your conversation. Would like your final considerations about the topic and the day.
I want to say something very interesting. A paraphenomena. It's midday, and I hear the bells ringing. It's like retrocognitive, like something. I think we are
That's
all
right.
from the same group.
Yeah.
It's very interesting, and we are gathered today.
You are hearing the bells right now?
Yeah,
Yes.
yes, I
Yes.
also heard the bells. Yeah, I heard the
Yeah,
bells.
yeah, it's from here. In front
Ah,
of
Literally
my
is a
yeah,
house, we have
signal.
a church.
Literally is a signal from the past.
We cannot
yeah,
escape the past. That's
Yeah,
it.
very
that
good.
was really interesting. I hear
Yeah,
these bells every day at midday.
this is it. This is what we call signal. Signal. This is a signal from the
The
past.
signal from the past.
And guys, my final words is to say to you, synchronicity. Today, what I was doing, I was trying to find a paper to write some ideas to bring here to our debate, and I found some annotations here of
Wow.
some hypotheses of past lives. There were years that I didn't saw these appointments,
Oh, very
and
nice.
and I found this today.
Just found.
I was not searching for that, but I found it, and I think it will help me today with my researches of
Probably,
past lives.
probably.
Very good. It's a way of get connected.
It's
Excellent.
another
Yeah,
signal.
Yeah, another signal. That's
yeah,
right.
another signal. And this I have to say to everyone that the past lives, it's very connected to pay attention to these signals, because we are surrounded of millions, a lot of signals surround us in our daily lives. So we have to be with our attention in these details, in the synchronicities, coincidences. Every day we have something that can show some information to show us the way.
Shut it.
Just one thing I already said about this, but if you want to evolve and develop your parapsychism, help other consciousness. Help other consciousness. I think it's an important point of our discussion, and maybe can help many people to evolve using this technique. Help other consciousness.
Very good, Jade. Very good. Yeah, that's what it's a very good message because another thing is that the past must be uncovered, yeah, for us to move forward, right? We have to reconcile with the past. But the most important thing is whatever you do through your own will, right? Don't put your past in the hands of anybody else. Study, research, know more about you, look for your personal experiences, learn from your personal experiences, even from what your subconscious mind tells you. But it's the better when we have autonomy about our life, when we take over with responsibility from our whole history. It's the most important. I have to say goodbye now, and this was our last Let's Talk of 2021. We're not having in December because December is a festive month. Actually, we're gonna have our commemorations for the 10 years of ASSIPI. If you want to know more about it, just follow us in our networks, Instagram and Facebook. We'll be advertising this event aplenty. So just follow us and you will know more information about it for your participation in our celebrations of 10 years of existence of ASSIPI. All right, people, we're back in January. The calendar hasn't been out so far, but we are still devising it for the next year. But just wait because we will continue with Let's Talk on 2021. Thank you very much for your company in 2021 and 2022. Sorry. Thank you very much for your company in 2021. And we're back with more topics to be discussed. Bye bye, people.